Hello, everyone. Tuesday night. Thank you for joining us here on Fantasy Football Today, live for the next hour, answering your questions, helping you with waiver wire, trade, starter sit, whatever it might be. I'm Adam with Chris and Jamie. What you eating there, Jamie?
Peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms.
Love peanut M&Ms. So much better than regular.
Oh, peanut. Oh, those are. I was thinking peanut butter, but they're all good.
Oh, the peanut butter M&Ms are great too. Crispy M&Ms are amazing. Really great stuff from the Mars company.
What are the crispy M&Ms? The ones with the pretzel?
It's just like a little, like a rice ball inside of it, whatever it's called.
Have you had the fudge brownie ones?
I have not.
Yeah, get them. All right. Anyway, let's rock and roll. What is Rondale Moore's value rest of season? Is he worth rostering over Deontay Johnson, Jamar Chase, or Deebo Samuel?
No, but I have to assume you have a worse player than. I mean, who would be the lowest ranked of this three for the rest of the season?
Deebo.
Right, who is leading the NFL in receiving yards. So I think you have a worse player than him.
Yeah, but this is like an 18 league. This is the situations people run into. Certainly, we see a lot of 10-team leagues, but this is probably shallower than that. So, we always just typically spend a lot of time, understandably so, on 12-team leagues. But, sometimes these shallow formats, people have to make some really tough decisions, and, it's stuck. It stinks.
Yeah. So I got this email. We all got this email, I think. I respond to a lot of the emails that people send to fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. I had the first waiver pick in a 2 QB league with a short bench. Would you recommend I spend it on Rondale Moore? So where are you guys on Rondale Moore? And yeah, I mean he has Tim Patrick, so I think you bet you drop Patrick for Moore, but I don't know if you can keep the first waiver claim. I feel like most weeks there might be a better player like a running back. But
Rondale Moore is not a difference maker now. He might be down the road, and I hate to say he's in a crowded receiving corps because we saw, not to the same extent in terms of crowded, but, nobody thought Justin Jefferson was going to do that.
Right.
Right. So
I don't want to make that mistake again, because that's how I felt about T. Higgins. He caught a touchdown in like week 3. I was like, whatever. He barely had any catches. So I think he got 2 touchdowns. And I'm not really buying it, and I should have. So I don't want to make the same mistake.
Right. But I think the only way he's a certain week in, week out starter in every league is if something happens to DeAndre Hopkins. I just can't see it where he's that significant a contributor, unless, of course, the other 2 guys go away completely, but they're not. That's just their offense, So Rondale Moore, I think, is going to probably top out at like maybe a top 30 receiver, which is really good. But that's still asking him to do a lot in this offense.
Yeah, I do have him 34th this week, but it's in a big jumble, and he could be as low as 40th without really, changing my view of him much. So I think he's in that wide receiver 3 discussion. There are so many indicators for him that are really, really promising. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has earned a target on 34% of his routes. He is, I think, over 11% yards per target. Obviously, a lot of that is the big long touchdown yesterday. He actually only had like 28 air yards in week 2, and nearly all of them came on that long touchdown. So that does tell you, 1, that they're manufacturing a lot of touches for him. But 2, that, they'll have to throw the ball downfield more to him than they did in week 2 for him to, continue to be successful. He's amazing with the ball in his hands. He got a touch inside of the 5-yard line in week 2. He did fumble on it. But I think there are a lot of positive indicators. The thing is, he's 4th on the team in wide receiver routes, wide receiver snaps. And so, they run more 4-wide sets than basically any team in the NFL, but he does probably need to move up. If he was the number 3 wide receiver in terms of routes run and snaps in that offense, I think he would be a top 36 wide receiver rest of season.
Yeah, so it's really so you might want to beat the rush. All right, let's go to our next question here. As the Justin Jefferson manager, would Osborne be a good handcuff for him?
I don't know if you want to handcuff Jefferson with Osborne. I think Osborne's got some value on his own. I mean, this was a team that we thought was going to get the ball to Irv Smith to whatever degree. And, you come out of the preseason, before the injury, and it was okay. Irv Smith is going to do some different things than they did with Kyle Rudolph, and that was the excitement level for him. And now you're seeing it with KJ Osborne, and I think it's fun to watch. Now you can make the same case. Is he a handcuff for Adam Thielen too? I mean, obviously, if one of those two guys go away, he's going to have a potential boost in production. But he's been pretty good on his own, so I don't think you need to necessarily look at it that way.
He did run a smaller route share this week. He was down to 59%. So for what it's worth, he was at 81% in week 1. That did shrink in week 2.
They really didn't throw that much in week 2. I mean, they threw 32 times, but that was a shootout, and they're playing catch up a little bit, and Dalvin Cook still had a huge role. All right, so rest of season, would you ditch Tannehill for Carr or Daniel Jones?
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I think I'd still rather have Tannehill. There are some real positive signs there. He just needs to AJ Brown needs to catch the ball better in week 3. And if he does that, Tannehill has a huge game in week 2.
From Johnny, 0-2, I need someone now. Would you trade away Michael Thomas for Darnell Mooney and Rondale Moore?
I guess if you're desperate, but I would probably try to approach a team that's 2-0 and say, here's Michael Thomas for something better than that combo, because you probably get that done.
Yeah, I don't even know if you're going to start Mooney and Moore. You got to get someone that you're going to start. Grade the trade. Mike Evans and Tyler Higbee for Kittle and Rondale Moore.
See? It's a fair trade.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Would you trade Chris Carson for Saquon Barkley?
No.
I would rather have Barkley.
And Jamie, you'd rather have Carson?
Yeah.
You want to elaborate? Is that a?
I mean, they were close enough in my rankings to begin with, and Carson, I still think is going to be significantly big part of this offense, and I trust the Seahawks offense at this point more than I trust the Giants.
You do? What's up with that? Like, really? Fly Eagles fly. Okay, let's see. Trade Julio Jones, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and look at this. All for Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
I put together a very similar offer in one of my leagues. I want to see what you guys think. It was Antonio Gibson, Noah Fant, and Will Fuller for Derrick Henry.
Oh, in a second, I'd if I were you, that's a great trade.
To get Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what fantasy football is about, and fantasy baseball is get one of the difference makers. There's so many guys that are just the same. Gibson could be great, but Derrick Henry is, he wins you a league every 3 or 4 weeks,
and he's on pace for 77 catches.
I know, it's wild. And I mean it's just a good idea to try to do 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s, try to get the best player if the best player is by far best player. Targets are important. Yeah, okay, targets are important. I guess that was
he does lead the team in target share this season, which is shocking.
But it's also jumbled though. I mean, AJ Green's one behind him.
Right. Yeah, everyone's in the 17 to 18% range.
Yeah, and Hopkins. I mean, would you be looking to trade DeAndre Hopkins?
I think if you could turn DeAndre Hopkins into maybe Jonathan Taylor, that's something I would explore. You could turn him into Joe Mixon. I consider that. I consider trading him for Gibson.
I don't think I would do Gibson. I do still have Hopkins as a top 6 wide receiver this week, and I still view him that way for the most part for the rest of the season.
I'd trade him for Najee Harris.
You would?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might do that, but I think I view Harris more optimistically than Gibson at this point too.
Gosh, you got to be a little nervous about Harris, though. God,
yeah, but I'm also looking at what his role and his workload is. I mean, he may just destroy the Bengals this week.
I don't know. The Bengals have been pretty solid, right? I mean, they've played McCaffrey and Montgomery. They've done a pretty good. Cook and Montgomery done a pretty good job. But
has Najee Harris come off the field yet?
Yeah,
he did for 4 snaps.
What Mike Tomlin said, I don't know if you saw it, I just saw it an hour ago, that Ben Roethlisberger took too many hits and they're going to have to explore. So we're going to have to run the ball better, but we also might have to get the ball out of Ben Roethlisberger's hands more quickly, which is exactly
right into Mason Rudolph's hands.
What's that?
Right into Mason Rudolph's hands.
With the pectoral.
I can't believe they didn't actually try to upgrade their backup quarterback. I mean, I guess Dwayne Haskins, but geez.
Chris, what about you? Did you eat at Pequods last week or whatever?
I did not get there. I actually didn't have any pizza when I was in Chicago because I was right around the corner from Lou Malnati's, and the line was too long. I wasn't going to wait.
Well, you did the right thing because you would have just.
Oh God! Don't be one of those
full.
obnoxious people.
No, it's good. It's just a casserole.
It's delicious.
It's good.
It's bread.
It's very full.
Bread, melted cheese, tomato sauce, and meat. There's nothing wrong with it.
Too thick. It's too much. Should I drop Will Fuller for Mike Williams? And she gave us a flower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that. Guillotine League. How much fab on AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Lamar Jackson, Robbie Anderson?
I'll go back to what I said last time we had this conversation, and we should probably do it every Tuesday, Adam, because it's getting more and more popular, at least briefly. It depends on what your team looks like. If you have a team that is going to just get by, save that money. Don't make the mistake that I think a lot of people do is you see all these flashy names, you think you got to go crazy for it early. If you think your team is good enough to get you week to week to week, bid small, and by small, depending on how much your fab budget is. You don't always have to get the best players right away because there are going to be a lot of great players every week available to you.
All right. Would you give up on Ronald Jones?
Sure.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, totally fine dropping him.
Terry McLaurin or AJ Brown rest of season?
Oh, AJ Brown, definitely.
Still AJ Brown, but it's close.
You notice how few waiver wire questions we're getting? It was such a crappy week.
Yeah. I think the wide receivers are great on waivers this week. It's just, there's no,
Shepard Moore?
What's that?
Which wide receivers? Shepard and Moore?
Shepard, Moore, Tim Patrick, Michael Pittman is like 66% rostered. I think there's some really good guys out there.
Pittman is you gotta be a little bummed because Wentz is out. I mean, it'd be a different story if Wentz were
sure.
playing.
He would be, I think, ahead of Tim Patrick for me, behind Rondale Moore and Sterling Shepard, but especially Sterling Shepard and Rondale Moore. I could easily see both of those guys being must-start guys moving forward.
Would you consider trading Cooper Kupp? I have Chris Godwin and Calvin Ridley. I'm weak at running back.
Absolutely. Perfect sell high candidate. He's not going to be bad, but you're getting maximum value for him right now.
His value's never going to be higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you look for? Jonathan Taylor would be a slam dunk for Kupp?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know why I'm not trading Cooper Kupp? Because I didn't draft him in any league. So I'm very disappointed.
I have him in a few spots. I have a lot more Robert Woods, though, which I feel fine about. I'm not worried about Robert Woods. I think his target share is actually up from last year, despite Cooper Kupp dominating. And his ADOT is up to 9.2 yards per attempt, which is exactly what we wanted to see. Robert Woods is going to be just fine.
Start having lunch and dinner with Stafford if Cooper Kupp's having breakfast with him.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, you got to at least get a midday snack in there. Bring him some assorted nuts or something.
You know what I really miss? I miss going on a vacation and having the vacation breakfasts. You got like your cereal stand and your pancakes and your omelet station. I think my favorite part of vacations is the breakfast.
I'm not a breakfast person.
Go on vacation. I'm gonna vacation my head off next year. Absolutely, make up for lost time. You're not a breakfast person, Chris?
No,
I'm not a breakfast person either. But on vacation, I freaking love it. All you can eat breakfast is full PPR. Should I drop Kenyon Drake and pick up Tony Pollard? And should I drop Will Fuller for Rondale Moore?
Yes.
I think both of those are okay.
All right. Shepard or Devontae Smith? Non-PPR.
Shepard.
All right. Sorry to make this about me again, but I feel like this is pretty crazy. I think I might bench Mike Evans for Marquise Brown and Devontae Smith. One of them is a starting wide receiver. One of them is a flex. Evans is against the Rams. Brown gets Detroit. Smith, the Cowboys. I'm an Eagles fan.
But it's not Evans' turn to be the odd man out, though. He's already had his turn.
But when he faces teams that have the ability to take away a wide receiver, they always put that guy on Evans. And I don't know that they will this year with Ramsey. I don't even think they will. I don't know. But this is the kind of game Evans stinks in. So I don't know. I love Devontae Smith this week. Dallas has played Tampa Bay and the Chargers. They've given up 90 yards to 4 receivers in 2 games, 90 or more yards.
But who was the one that didn't?
Mike Evans. Exactly. See? Yeah. Should I trade CEH and Hawkinson for Barkley? Oh, I have Darren Waller. Well,
I would aim higher.
It's not
And
bad,
I don't
though.
mind using Hawkinson as a flex if I need to.
should I drop the Washington?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you should. Should I trade Deebo Samuel for Miles Sanders?
I think you could do better, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
What would you have said after week 1?
Trade Deebo Samuel for Christian McCaffrey.
0-2, is Daniel Jones a better play than Tannehill this week?
Yes.
I do have him, I think, 1 spot higher.
I think I don't know that I could side off on this, guys. Daniel Jones. Why? Because of the matchup?
I mean, the Falcons think he's getting more design runs called.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's because they're not giving it to Barkley. They're going to Barkley.
For the most part, it's been, just keeping it on the option, which we saw them do. And there was the touchdown was on a design draw. But for the most part, it has been keeping it on the option. And you wonder if that's going to, the presence of Barkley as opposed to Wayne Gallman or Devontae Freeman is going to make the read option runs more effective for Daniel Jones.
Maybe. The only thing I'll say, I went back and looked at all of the, good to great matchups that the Giants had last year. They only had 2. They only had 2 games all year against a team that was bottom 10 in defense in terms of scoring. And that was both games were the Cowboys. And Daniel Jones didn't really do much.
he's a new man, Adam.
I don't know that he is. That's the thing. But
I'm terrified that I'm getting out over my skis on a couple of wide receivers this week, or quarterbacks, because I have Teddy Bridgewater in the top 12, Daniel Jones, Derek Carr, and Sam Darnold all in the top 16. I'm terrified of that, but they all have good matchups. They've all been playing well. Like Daniel Jones actually has played pretty well so far. It's been surprising.
Well, nobody was saying that after week 1.
Sure, and a lot of that was garbage time.
Yeah,
but that's also with his offense getting a lot healthier.
He wasn't
week 1,
but he owns Washington. That's the thing. Just every time he plays Washington, he has one of his best games. So I don't know. I would stick with Tannehill, but two people say Jones, so go with Jones. Harris.
I don't think it's that big of a discrepancy if you want to stick with Tannehill.
Yeah, look, we'll see if Xavier Rhodes comes back. Maybe that's a deciding factor for you on the Colts defense. Harris and Myers, I'm guessing Damian Harris and Myers for
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, for Chris.
A++.
Looks like Chris Carson's going to be one of the most underrated players again this year. Should I trade Mixon and Najee Mixon or Najee, I guess, and Debo for Barkley and Ridley or Lamb? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Should I use my first position for Rondale Moore or wait to see if I can get Ruggs after waivers?
If waivers don't reset, then I would not pick up Rondale Moore first.
Right.
That's fair.
That's what I was alluding to in the email that I referenced.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What do you do with Zeke and Pollard if you have both?
So I spoke to CeeDee Lamb today. We're going to air that interview on HQ tomorrow. And he said, to no surprise, they're both great.
I mean, the thing with Pollard is he had 16 touches in week 2, which is amazing. He only ran 7 routes. He got 16 touches on 21 snaps, which says they really want to get the ball in his hands and they want to design plays to get the ball in his hands. But it also, it's probably not tenable for him to get touches on 75% of his snaps moving forward.
Yeah.
So do we think he's going to get more playing time? I think he's an RB3 flex play. And so if you are weak at running back, I think you can absolutely start him.
Well, I
have a league where I'm starting him this week.
Put it this way. How much better has he been than Kareem Hunt?
For fantasy, probably a decent amount better. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the same name.
Well,
He's
yeah.
the
Less
second guy in a prolific offense that's going to get the opportunity to touch the ball. And in the cases when he's on the field, he's getting the ball in his hands more times than not. So I don't know if it's sustainable, but I don't think it's something that you have to run away from. So I think he is going to be a potential flex play every week.
Yeah, Jacob Gibbs tweeted today, broken tackle rate through 2 weeks. Tony Pollard, 31%. Ezekiel Elliott, 5%. It is possible that Pollard's just better now. But
that's so skewed, though, because when he's touching the ball against Tampa, he's running right into the teeth of that defense in week 1.
Well,
and
Pollard, they both played the same schedule.
Right. But
Pollard was getting the ball in space. They were giving him opportunities to be out in different opportunities.
Right, but
he is a more explosive player than.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but
there's no question.
The way that they were giving them those touches and the way that they're giving them opportunities. Of course, he's going to have those. The contact numbers are going to be different.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Gee. Should I trade Trey Sermon or hold him?
What can you get for him?
I actually think there should be some market value here for him.
His redraft, I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure.
I would just hold him. I can't imagine you're going to get much for him.
I guess if you could trade Trey Sermon for Sterling Shepard, I'd do that. You could trade him for
Rondale
Moore. I'd probably do that.
See if you could get like Kenny Golladay for him. If the person has Kenny Galladay's worried,
receiver, but I don't know if that's something somebody's willing to do. I think it's more like, hey, I just picked up Sterling Shepard. I don't need Sterling Shepard, but I can use Trey Sermon maybe a month from now. Those are the type of trades you explore.
Should I start Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, or Teddy Bridgewater?
Cousins.
I have Cousins.
Allen Robinson, drop or keep. He's pissing me off.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll just not be able to pass the ball this year, but Allen Robinson's been really good with bad quarterback situations in the past. I don't think this is the worst one he's had.
Would you like to know the list of quarterbacks he's played with?
It's all
he may or may not be a name that player guy tomorrow. He has played with, dating back to college, Matt McGloin, Chad Henne, Blake Bortles, Nick Foles, Mitchell Trubisky, Chase Daniel, and Andy Dalton. Those have been his starting quarterbacks.
Wow.
It isn't like Darnell Mooney has an identical target share to him so far, which is a little annoying for Robinson because he's been someone who's dominated targets in the past. But I don't know. I don't think that's sustainable.
Oh, well, would you rather have Deontay Johnson or Allen Robinson?
Healthy Deontay Johnson?
Yeah.
Still Robinson, but it's close.
Yeah, Robinson.
Tyler Lockett and Cooper Kupp now ahead of Allen Robinson?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Rank these available wide receivers: Osborne, Bateman, Emmanuel Sanders.
Sanders, Osborne, Bateman.
Yeah, I think that's the way I would go. If you don't need a starter, I would maybe rather stash Bateman than Osborne, but Emmanuel Sanders, Josh Allen. If you think Josh Allen is going to play better than he has so far, you should be buying Emmanuel Sanders everywhere.
Of course, he's going to play better than he has
because the targets have been there, the role has been there, and he's very close to having a very good start to the season.
Worth dropping some fab on Curtis Samuel right now, or wait for more news?
Yeah, if you have an IR spot, especially.
If you have zero bids, especially.
Yeah, well, what would you spend? Would you spend more than 2%?
No, it would be $1 or $2.
Yeah. Okay. No reason why not to. Rest of season rank of Mixon, Najee, Barkley.
I think it would be Mixon, Najee, and Barkley.
I'll go Mixon, Barkley, Najee.
Would you rather have Kenny Gainwell or Michael Carter to stash full PPR?
Gainwell.
Really?
I think Gainwell has more upside. Carter, a more immediate path to being relevant.
Who would you rather have if they're both starting? The starter for the Eagles or the starter for the Jets?
Oh yeah, definitely Gainwell.
I'd rather. Well, here's the thing. I'm not convinced Gainwell would have a true starter's role.
No. I think it would be like 10 carries per week and 4 or 5 targets. But those 10 carries might be good for 50 yards every week if he's running next to Jalen Hurts.
But that's kind of not really fair because Michael Carter isn't playing behind a starter here. I mean, we're not playing the injury game here. Michael Carter has a path to becoming the starter that doesn't depend on injuries.
Yeah, I guess Carter's probably a better play.
All right. I just got Antonio Gibson through trade. I gave up Mike Davis and Brandon Ayuk.
Congratulations.
Higgins or Shepard this week at flex?
I'll take Shepard in PPR, Higgins in half and none.
Okay. Oh.
I'd like to see if Joe Hayden's playing, though.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
And TJ Watt.
Lost my place.
Yeah.
Do I start James Robinson, Myles Gaskin, or Tyson Williams in non-PPR?
I think it's Tyson by a mile.
I think they're all in the same range.
Love Tyson Williams this week.
Yeah, he's scoring.
Maybe a preview?
He's fumbling into someone's arms who's going to... Should I use the number 4 claim, it doesn't reset, on Rondale Moore? So now we're talking number 4.
Number 4, yeah.
We're okay with that.
Yes.
Bench 1, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jacoby Myers, Rondale Moore.
I'm benching Jacoby.
Read that one. Would you trade Andrews and Ridley for Lockett and Logan Thomas?
No.
No. Grade the trade. Give Robert Woods, Tyson Williams, and Michael Thomas. Get Kupp and Drake.
D.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, Kupp is going to have to continue to dramatically outperform Woods. Can I trust Jalen Hurts as my QB1 all year or look to trade up at the position?
He was bad as bad can be against the 49ers and still got 21 fantasy points. I mean, that's the floor. He's fantastic.
He's rushed for at least 62 yards in every game that he's finished as a starter. That's like that right there. He doesn't have to be good at throwing the ball to be worth starting most weeks.
He had a deep touchdown called back because Jalen Reagor stepped out of bounds. He threw a beautiful deep ball.
Forced out of bounds.
And there wasn't there another almost touchdown to Reagor?
I think it was Watkins, maybe. I don't know.
Well, Watkins it looked like he scored, and I think he got pushed out just before the goal line on the 91-yard.
Yeah, I thought he played great. I mean, we're really excited about him.
It's like we expected, though. The 3 best rushing quarterbacks in the NFL with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
of course.
My guy, Jalen Hurts. All right. I don't like to hold 2 defenses. Good, you shouldn't. Is it worth it to pick up a defense or just play the Rams against the Bucs?
I would carry 2 defenses if you can.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to, but I did that with the Ravens last week to hang on to them.
But don't the Rams have the Packers the following week or something?
The Rams have like 2 or 3 bad matchups in a row, but then it's like 3 dream matchups.
Yeah. Okay.
It kind of depends. Like, if you're in a spot where you need to pick up someone to start, like if you just get hit by injuries, then you'll have to drop them. But, right now, most teams should probably have a bench spot to play with.
Tony
Pollard or Javonte Williams, week 2?
Week 2, I'm going to say Tony Pollard. He was awesome.
What about week 3?
Javonte.
I have them back to back, but Javonte is 1 spot higher.
Who is that villain in the Avatar?
That is definitely an anime thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who it is.
Rank these.
He was the 4th leading rusher at quarterback this year.
The 4th leading rusher, Jared Goff, who had a career high 46 yards. Is he really? Oh, wow. Yeah. This is joking. 4th leading rusher, Josh Allen.
He's actually tied for 5th. Can you guess who he's tied with also?
Jameis Winston.
Jameis is not in the top 5. Jameis is actually 7th.
Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Allen is 4th with 79 yards. Who is Jared Goff tied with?
Who is Jared?
I will give you a clue. He will not be running this weekend.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Very good.
Yeah. I was actually pretty encouraged by Carson Wentz running, but I don't know he's going to do that anymore.
How many yards do you think he could pick up on that scooter?
He had a scooter? I didn't see it.
He's been riding around on a scooter in the facility.
He's got 2 sprained ankles, man. He can't walk.
Right? I don't think I've ever been on a scooter. Maybe when I was.
I think it's like you put your knee on it kind of scooter.
Rank
probably not like riding a Segway.
He never did that. Rank them rest of season. Brian Edwards, De'Ami Brown, Terrace Marshall.
Edwards, Marshall, Brown.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer.
Would you trade Michael Carter for Alexander Madison? I have Dalvin Cook.
I probably would.
I don't think I would. Maybe if we get some like bad news about Cook with that ankle, maybe, but I think I'd rather have
But
Carter.
you're saying that now, then that manager is never making that trade. So you want to make that trade. So that's the thing. It's like you want to guarantee yourself at least you have that.
He's going to get hurt. I'm just.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's a running back.
He's a running back who plays all the time, and he's not Derrick Henry.
And he has had 3 separated shoulders in the last 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah, I would take Madison because I'm a coward, and I cannot have Dalvin Cook without Madison on my team.
I mean, if you're never playing Michael Carter, then you obviously would like to have that security blanket.
Right. Did that one. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. Let's just redo. We're going to redo the show. We're going to cut it short and replay the first half hour. Devontae Adams for Chris Godwin and Joe Mixon.
Yes.
Man, I think that's really close. I might rather have the Mixon side.
Yeah. Give up my Lamb and my Jonnu for his Pollard and Hawkinson.
No.
Okay. I have Melvin Gordon, Tyler Boyd, Christian Kirk, Kenny Golladay, and KJ Osborne. I need a flex. Who is he starting in PPR?
A new team.
Tyler Boyd.
I think it's either Boyd or Golladay.
I might go with Gordon, just knowing that the Jets stink.
Yeah, the Jets do stink. Let's see. How have the yeah, all right. Look, slot receivers against the Steelers. Cole Beasley had 8 for 60. Hunter Renfrow had 5 for 57. So
is Hayden playing?
Does that really matter though for Tyler Boyd?
Yes.
Why?
It shifts their whole defense out of whack.
Maybe. Would you trade Kamara and Cortland Sutton for CEH, Devontae Adams, and Elijah Mitchell?
No.
Listen, you have to be really down on CEH to not make that trade, right?
I disagree. I think Kamara's by far the best player in the deal, and Sutton might be the third.
He's not by far the best player in the deal. They're close.
Adams is in that ballpark.
I think he's by far the best
was a
player
second or third round pick. Sutton, things have changed for Sutton, obviously, with the Judy.
But they're going to change back in a few weeks. So, I guess the wild card is Mitchell. Like, how long is he the guy?
I would rather have the Devontae Adams side, I think.
I think I would too, just because you're basically like, if CH turns it around and Mitchell's the guy, then that's the better side by far.
But remember, Alvin Kamara had 7 points last week.
Yep, he did.
I love him, but the Saints offense might be horrible. All right, would you trade Antonio Brown for a more reliable flex option like Mike Davis?
I don't think
not
Mike
the
Davis
definition
is
of reliable.
Just come on, give him a break. He's a Jets fan. He doesn't know reliable offensive players. Give him a break. Who would you trade him for if you were going to trade Antonio Brown?
I would probably look to see if somebody has an injured Darrell Henderson right now and maybe trying to get that player. I would look to see it maybe like a Damian Harris if somebody's willing to part with him.
I would check on Chase Edmonds.
That's a good one. Chase Edmonds is a good one.
Really like what he's doing right now.
We don't know the format, but I'd maybe, if it's half or non-PPR, maybe Tyson Williams.
Yeah.
You're looking at the running backs that are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 18 through 24.
Yeah.
Most weeks.
Wait, why, Chris, are you encouraged by Edmonds? Because I feel like he's a fairly safe floor guy, but I'm not sure he's any better than James White. I just don't know how he's going to score on this offense.
I mean, he has 20 carries through 2 games. He's not going to have a ton of touchdowns, but he's got 20 carries. He's running the ball efficiently, just like he has throughout his entire career, pretty much, except for his rookie season. And he's an important part of the passing game. I just think he's going to be, 12 to 15 touches every single week. I think he's in a PPR league, he's a number 2 RB.
He is a better PPR running back right now than Alvin Kamara, Najee Harris, Miles Sanders,
Saquon Barkley,
Taylor, Ezekiel Elliott.
I mean, he does have 181 yards and 9 catches through 2 games. He's playing well.
Yeah,
I don't think that's unsustainable.
This is why I drafted a lot of Chase Edmonds, And I'm also encouraged that James
But you're
Conner
the James Conner guy, though.
really didn't. No, I'm not. Don't you say that. That James Conner didn't do much last week. So hopefully, they continue to move away. But if every time they get inside the 10-yard line, if it's either going to be Kyler Murray or James Conner scoring, then I don't know that Edmonds could be great. I just think he could be good. And I don't know that you should just give up on Antonio Brown. He's going to have some huge games.
Yeah, I think the problem is like you have to sell him after his week 1. You have to sell him after his week 4. You have to sell him after his big game. You can't sell him now.
What do you think?
He has an 11% target share through 2 games. He was only at 16% in week 1 with as good as he was.
What do you think the Bucs are going to do against the Rams and then at the Rams and at the Patriots the next 2 weeks? You think they're going to 30 points or more or 20?
Whatever they want.
You think so?
Who's slowing them down?
Rams and Patriots? I don't know.
We'll find out.
I looked at all the quarterbacks who have played in Foxborough over the last 2 years. There have been 7,
including that guy,
including Mahomes, including Lamar Jackson,
but including Brady.
Oh no! All the visiting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's funny. All the visiting quarterbacks over the last 2 years, 17 quarterbacks at the 1 playoff game. Only 4 of them have scored more than 19 fantasy points in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues. He played a lot of crappy ones, but they did very well against Dak Prescott. I don't know if you remember that game 2 years ago. Dak was terrible. He scored like 6 points.
Do you think that Belichick is going to do something to confuse Brady? I'm not saying this sarcastically. I'm just asking. Like, do you think he's actually going to be able to confuse Brady?
He's going to bug the locker room, according to Peyton Manning.
I can't wait for that game.
No, I don't think there's anything that confuses Tom Brady, basically.
Can you imagine if he had stayed in New England and he'd be throwing to Jacoby Myers and Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne?
Hey, Antonio Brown would have gone there.
It's just he did go there and they got rid of him.
Oh, man, they had to get rid of him. All right. Well, So the question is, do you look to trade Tom Brady because he had 2 of the best matchups in fantasy, perhaps, or do you think he just does whatever he wants to do this year?
So we had this conversation on HQ with talking about Dave's trade chart because this was his sell high guy at quarterback was Tom Brady, and I posed the question to Dave. Like in our magazine league, I drafted Joe Burrow and then I picked up Justin Fields after week 1, and I've been carrying 3 quarterbacks because for week 1 I played Kirk Cousins, week 2 stupidly I played Ben Roethlisberger. I'm the target, right? That's the type of guy you're looking to trade Tom Brady to. And I said to him, like, I'm not giving up anything when I see Kirk Cousins on the waiver wire or Derek Carr or those type of guys that you're going to want in return. Like, I'm going to offer you junk for Brady because that's the easiest position to replace. You have to make it a package. You can't do a 1-for-1 type of deal. Brady for a running back, Brady for a wide receiver, unless somebody's just completely loaded with so much depth at those positions. And we just don't see that very often. So It's so hard to trade that position.
Yeah. I mean, he's averaging 328 yards passing per game with 9 touchdowns through 2 games. And he's not even the number 1 quarterback. That just kind of shows how in this environment with rushing quarterbacks.
Kyler.
Yeah. It just shows how in this environment with so many rushing quarterbacks, like he's probably going to be 80% as good as he has been so far. And even that might be pushing it. And that probably makes him like RB or QB 10.
No way is he going to be QB 10. I mean, he's still
too high or too low.
Oh, way too low. He's a top 5 quarterback. He deserves to be in the top 6. Like there was a big 5, maybe 6 with Wilson or something. He's clearly, I think, in the range of Dak Prescott. And Kyler is playing at another level. And
he had 4,600 yards and 40 touchdowns last season. Was QB 9 in points per game.
He's better this year, though.
Point? I don't think he was QB 9 and 6 point.
And 6 point, yeah. Sorry, 8. Sorry,
with Mariota in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's probably really close. Like, was he close to QB 5?
No, he was about a point per game south of Kyler Murray.
He's better this year. They're much better this year from where they were at the start of last season. Like it's just night and day. You watch them play, and Gronk's in better shape. And
he got off to such a crappy start. You basically have to look at his numbers. He was number 3 per game when Antonio Brown started. Okay, so his first game didn't go well. It was a blowout to the Saints. I'm sorry. So you can say he wasn't, but the last 7 games he was QB3 with Antonio Brown. So and I have him in 6 point per passing touchdown leagues. Yeah, you're right. So a point behind. He was tied with Herbert. He was a point behind Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson.
I guess the question becomes, because the way you framed it, Adam. So are you looking to trade him away, knowing that he's played 2 easy matchups and has this little bit of a tough schedule coming up? So the question would become like, and I asked the guys this on the show today, because Dave's buy low candidate was Justin Herbert. Who would you rather have rest of season, Justin Herbert or Tom Brady?
Oh, it would have to be Herbert and Barkley for Brady. Would you make that kind of trade?
In a heartbit, you make that trade.
Well, that would be that would be an easy call, Adam.
Well, first of all, to me it wouldn't, but for most people, I think out there, it's an even trade. I think, because you know how fantasy managers operate, and I can't just sit here and say Saquon Barkley is going to be great. I think he's going to be good. I don't know. There's a lot of things that concern me.
But at this point, you're right to question it. But at this point, you would take what his still upside would be plus what Herbert's upside would be for Tom Brady.
Here's what I know.
And I would also say Herbert's played a lot better than his fantasy production so far. And I think he might be making a leap to
he's
being
the man.
A legitimate elite quarterback. I was skeptical, but he's looked so good.
No, he's the man. He's throwing the ball downfield. They're not dinking and dunking like I was afraid they were going to. Justin Herbert is a star. I would do the trade personally, but I think you could pull that off if you were the Tom Brady owner in a lot of leagues. And fine, if it's not that, maybe it's.
I would do Brady for Barkley heads up if I had Brady.
Not a chance. I wouldn't do it, because I don't think you can win in this environment. I don't think you can win a fantasy league with Kirk Cousins. I'm not sure you can win with Ryan Tannehill. I think greatness at quarterback, and I'm not willing to give it up. And I know this sounds crazy, but I would not trade Brady for Barkley. I would. So
there's 4 quarterbacks that are averaging over 30 points per game right now: Kyler, Brady, Mahomes, and Wilson. We expected all of them to be good to whatever degree you thought. Top 8, top 10 quarterbacks for sure. You don't think rest of season, and it's a long way to go, that Herbert's in that range?
Oh, I do. I'm not quite as confident. But I am pretty confident in Justin Herbert. Yeah,
I think Dak's in that range.
Yeah, I think Dak is in that range. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That Brady is with Dak and Wilson and fine.
Okay, so then let's take it a step further. You have a decent enough sample size for NFL purposes. I know Heath would argue this, but what Derek Carr was at the end of last season, the way that he started this season, right?
No way. He's not even close to this conversation.
But Derek Carr and Saquon Barkley is better than Tom Brady.
It's better than
Tom Brady and your worst running back.
Yeah, you're going to start a running back.
No, we're talking trade. We're not talking about starting. We're talking trades.
I would rather have the Brady side than Carr and
so you would legitimately pass on what was a potential first-round running back that still has a big ceiling potentially in front of him to keep Tom Brady.
Yeah, and that's partially about Saquon Barkley. But I just don't think – now, look, if I had Brady and Hurts, which I do in at least one league, I think 2, then I would probably make that trade. But I just
this
don't.
This is crazy to me.
I don't think you can win in fantasy if you're weak at quarterback. And you've got guys.
I don't know. I won several.
I don't know. You said that
Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, I won a championship starting Mitchell Trubisky last year. I won another championship with. It might have been Trubisky in 2 leagues actually for week 16. I won a championship streaming quarterbacks last year twice.
All right. Well, look,
I'm not saying it's
you can do it, but I wouldn't advise it. And I think you got to have that stud quarterback because these guys are scoring 35 points. They give you such an.
But Cousins is at 28, and Carr is at 28, and Jared Goff's at 29.
Right, but Brady's not going to average 35 per game.
No, he's not gonna. But he's gonna be considerably better than Carr.
Obviously, he's better, but again, it's what you're getting with those other guys.
Look, I'm not as high on Saquon Barkley.
Forget about Barkley. Put Gibson there, put Taylor there, put Najee Harris there, put any of those guys there.
I'm doing it for these running backs who have been so disappointing so far. You want to say Mixon?
2 games, Adam.
I would do Mixon. It's 2 games, but there are obvious reasons to worry about these guys who we had reasons to worry about. I mean, the thing is about fantasy football, the reason that we don't draft quarterbacks like Brady and Dak and Lamar Jackson where we draft Saquon Barkley and Najee Harris is because that's just what everyone does. We look at ADP. We know how people draft. We don't have to draft Lamar Jackson.
No, it's also historically that it just hasn't been a good investment.
Yeah, because you can get them later in the draft. But
but even historically, top 12 drafted quarterbacks, quarterbacks that are drafted in the top 12, They're about 50% to finish in the top 12. It's
There are
not.
10
It's never
guys.
been a guarantee.
10 guys averaging
Brady's
27 or more fantasy points right now. 10 of them.
Yeah, but Brady's averaging 35.
He's averaging 38.
Oh, he's averaging 38 exactly.
But again, you're saying you're not giving up Brady to get one of those guys when you could pivot to one of these other guys who may be within 10 points of him now and 5 points with him by the end of the season.
Right.
Maybe. The thing is, like, Brady is so safe. And last year, you talked about winning a league with Trubisky. Well, Kyler Murray got hurt and didn't play that well down the stretch. Justin Herbert folded down the stretch. Russell Wilson folded down.
That happens.
Could happen. Yeah, it could. You're right. It could happen.
Well, no, it will. It will happen to some amount of the elite quarterbacks.
But the flip side of that is
running backs too.
In those same leagues, I was starting Trubisky and Jeff Wilson. So it's going to happen on the other side of it also. Running backs are clearly going to be replaceable as well. But I think what I would say is if somebody comes to any fantasy manager and says, I want Tom Brady and I'm going to give you this running back 2 weeks into the season who struggled, Gibson, Harris, Saquon, whatever, and you pass that up, that to me is a huge mistake.
I think it's a mistake.
I understand that most people would say that. I'd love to know what people in the chat think about that. I don't know if we can do a poll here, but
just say, is Adam crazy? Yes or no?
Because like right now, I think it's like there are 16 running backs. I wrote about this in my RB rankings piece. There are 16 running backs I trust right now. And that goes through for my rankings this week. It includes everyone through Ezekiel Elliott. After that, there's a bunch of guys you have to start that I don't trust. But any of those 16, I think would be worth trading for, or what would be worth trading Brady for.
Yeah, the only thing is, Adam needs to understand that you can stream the position. I get that you can stream the position, but you can't stream the position and expect to get Tom Brady production.
No, you can't.
But you're not getting Brady production.
Yeah,
you can stream the position and get 22 points a week. I think that's a
All right, well, let me ask you this. You said there was a big 6. You're putting Brady in that 6 or big 7.
He was
right now, rest of season. Dak Prescott or Tom Brady?
I'd rather have Brady. But you know how I felt about Brady. I mean, he's my most drafted player. I was really high on him, and it just seems like they're determined to just dominate the NFL right now via Tom Brady. He's Tom freaking Brady. He's just gonna be amazing. You know what? Like, here's the thing. If we had this discussion in week 2 last year about Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers ended up being more valuable than most of the running backs in fantasy football. I don't know who the equivalent would have been who was drafted in the 2nd round last year, but you would have traded Aaron Rodgers for a high-end running back, and you would have lost. So I'm betting on Brady to keep this going, to possibly win the MVP, to set some kind of record and just have a huge year, even if he doesn't do it this week against the Rams.
I don't think anything you said is incorrect, but again, it's position value. Yeah,
I know. It's just, I guess the last point I'll make, then we'll just finish off the show reading a ton of questions. For me, the running backs are just so risky, and Tom Brady feels like the safest player, one of the safest players in fantasy football. So maybe the best possible outcome for Barkley is that he's a lot more valuable than Tom Brady. The worst possible outcome for both of them, Barkley's much worse. So, that I want people to consider that too. But all right, fine. I understand I'll be in the minority on this.
Adam, you play scared.
I don't play scared.
You're always playing. You're playing to not lose.
I don't think so. All right, here we go. David Montgomery and Pittman for Singletary and DJ Moore.
I guess. C.
Even trade. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Montgomery and Moore are basically the same, and the other two are basically the same.
Starting Pollard or Shepard this week?
Shepard.
Jamie is right. That's my Twitter handle.
I guess I'm not right.
You guys had the same argument. That's awesome. Start 2 in PPR. Clyde, Tyson, Elijah Mitchell, and Antonio Brown.
Is this one of the Manning family members?
Maybe.
Clyde and Tyson.
Tyson and whatever AB it is.
Yeah, Antonio, I'm sure. Who I need a backup running back. Who do you think I should target if I trade Sterling Shepard?
Well, I mean, the best backup running back, I guess, at this point is Ezekiel Elliott. So try and get him. I think, in PPR, I think Shepard, I'd be looking at Damian Harris. I'd be looking at Chase Edmonds. I'd be looking at those type of guys.
You know what the right answer might be? Javonte Williams. If you can get Javonte for Sterling Shepard.
I don't know.
I'd aim higher.
I mean,
upside.
if you just need a backup,
Yeah.
like if you're just doing it for the future, I would aim for Javante's upside. I think his upside's much higher than Damian Harris or that kind of range.
Mahomes over Brady. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think Brady's QB1.
He's better than Mahomes now, though, Adam.
He sure is. Is James Conner droppable for the top waiver ads?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's so funny. Tom Brady has 5 pass attempts inside the 10-yard line. Leonard, for the Bucs as a team, have 2 rush attempts. It's just ridiculous. I know it's not sustainable what they've been doing.
I don't think the Chiefs have even played 5 snaps inside of the 10-yard line. I think they only have 2 on the season.
Wow. Should I keep Trey Lance? I have Lamar Jackson in Fields.
No.
He's trying to keep him away from the league now.
Yeah, no.
Let's see. Should I trade Eli Mitchell for Mark Andrews?
Yes.
Would you drop Sermon for one of the top waiver picks?
I would do it for Shepard for sure. I don't know if I would do it for Rondale Moore unless I'm stuck at receiver.
I think I would.
Mike Williams and Devin Singletary for Miles Sanders, non-PPR.
No.
I think it's a C.
Adam is the best podcast host ever. Now that I get you to notice this, do I pick up Marquise Brown or Rondale Moore in a dynasty league? Ooh. In a dynasty league? How are they available?
Could be trade.
Yes, both.
Trade.
Rondale Moore.
Yeah,
I would rather have Moore in a dynasty league, I think. Would you guys?
Brown's still young.
I
think it's real close.
I mean, Marquise Brown's been on fire at the end of last year and this year.
He looked terrific. Yeah. We did that one. Would you drop Latavius Murray, Trace Sermon, or James Conner for Cordero Patterson?
Conner for Patterson makes sense.
Yeah, Conner, I guess.
Shepard for Brandon Cooks.
No.
It's a shame because
half dozen the other.
I think Cooks was a great candidate to trade because his schedule was about to get so tough, but nobody's going to want him now with Davis Mills because it's at least 3 games. Tyrod's on IR. Gibson and Woods for Barkley and Deontay Johnson.
I think it's fair. I'd rather have the Gibson and Woods side.
I would too, just because I think Woods is better than Johnson. The running backs are equal.
Mm-hmm.
I have
By the way, Adam, you'll be happy to know that your new best friend, Joe Pisapia, I brought up your Gibson for Barkley, better rest of season topic that we had last week after Thursday night.
Yeah.
And he agreed with you.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised you don't agree with me because who were you drafting first?
Earlier?
I'm sorry. Who did you have ranked ahead during drafts?
At the end of it, Gibson.
I had Barkley.
I just feel like I feel like at this point,
your argument is right. He's going to get more touches over the course of.
No, I don't know that he will. I think the touches will be pretty similar.
No, but he'll have more role in the passing game.
Who, Barkley?
Barkley.
Yeah.
But Gibson, I think, is on the better team. That's the difference. Despite what happened last week.
I don't care. I'm an Eagles fan. Whatever. Would you trade
You didn't ask my last question. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, what
relevant
was
to what we were talking about? It's okay. It was Herbert.
Oh, here we go.
Trade,
Oh, okay. Would you give up Brady, Tyson Williams, and Brandon Cooks for Herbert and AJ Brown?
So, Adam, this seems like you have to say no, right?
No, this I would do because you're getting AJ Brown, and you're.
So why is AJ Brown at his position different than Barkley or Gibson at his position?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Wait. I said I would do Herbert and Barkley. I would not do Brady straight up for Barkley. If you're getting Herbert,
straight up for Barkley, would you do AJ Brown straight up for Brady?
I would.
No, I would take Brady.
You're crazy.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a little nervous about Barkley. I think that's kind of what I've discovered tonight.
And apparently AJ Brown.
A little bit because
there's nothing to be nervous about with AJ Brown. There's absolutely nothing.
That AJ Brown might be the second best receiver on the team.
There is absolutely nothing to be worried about with him. If he didn't drop, I mean, I don't know if he actually had an official drop in Sunday's game, but
I understand.
He did. Whether they gave it to him or not, I don't care. He did.
Yeah, no, he had I think 3, but he's looked great still. The role is still awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He's the man, right?
Yeah,
he's had 43 yards in 2 games. The guy's the best. Amari Cooper and Justin Jackson for Chris Godwin. Have PPR.
There's no way I'm doing this trade unless Cooper's rib injury is bad.
Yeah.
How low would you offload Zeke right now? I can't get Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, or Najee Harris.
Why are you trading him?
Don't trade him.
People
You're
are
not selling him low.
they're really freaking out.
You should not sell him low right now.
I mean, maybe this is another crazy take. I feel like you guys will agree with it. There's no way I would trade Zeke for Najee Harris. No chance.
You'd rather have Zeke.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think so. It's close.
I mean, I would rather have Jones and probably Taylor, but Aaron Jones is really good. AJ Dillon was kind of a loser last night. We never even brought that up, but I mean, it was all Aaron Jones.
I thought, I do props for the 6 o'clock show on HQ every week, and we started doing it on our noon show as well. I thought it was one of the most slam dunks plus numbers I've ever seen was AJ Dillon over 8.5 carries yesterday.
Made sense.
And I mean, if you told, I was like, done.
If you said they were going to be leading by 2 scores for nearly the entire second half, you definitely would have hit the over on it too.
Vegas is so smart.
Is it crazy to look at Gibson's upcoming schedule and think he's a bust? I haven't seen his upcoming schedule.
He's got Buffalo this week.
I don't think it's the schedule. I think it's just a question of whether the role is going to allow him to hit his upside. Like, the schedule matters to a certain extent, but like as we're talking
There's a lot
right
of
now,
coming. We
don't know if the Steelers' offense is going to be or defense is going to be terribly scary this week. Things happen.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Atlanta in week 4, that shouldn't be a problem. New Orleans is really interesting because I did not think they were going to have a good run defense without their best run stuffer suspended for 6 games. But they've been amazing so far, facing Aaron Jones and Christian McCaffrey. And they've like running backs are averaging like 2 yards per carry against them. But that's week 4. All right, well, that's week 5 rather. Drop AJ Dillon. Ooh. Would you drop Dillon? No.
The only way I'm dropping him is if I'm stuck at receiver. I need Shepard.
Yep.
Would you drop Carter for Tyson Williams or Tyson Williams for Darryl Mooney?
No.
If I'm stuck at receiver, I drop Carter for Mooney. Yes.
Really? All right. Would you rather have Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
Dak, but it's
in PPR.
Yeah,
that's true. Dak he's not moving well, so I don't know if they're going to do. And Jalen Hurts, they ran the Philly special this week.
They did. It did not go well.
No.
Do you guys agree with this? Adam has a movie villain giggle.
You have like a cartoon, like, squishy cartoon figure.
Big dumbass giggle is what I have. Yes, I agree. Swift and Fant for CEH and Kittle.
Kittle's the best player, so I would take that.
Yeah, I think it's close, but I don't know if I would.
All right, let's see. A couple more questions here. Chubb and Odell for Zeke. Not me.
No, I think you take the chance on what Odell can be. The running backs are close.
Yeah, I think the running backs are close enough.
All right. I get Calvin Ridley and Kenny Gainwell. I give up Damian Harris and Deontay Johnson.
I'd rather have Harris than Johnson, especially non-PPR.
Johnson's a fringy-ish starter in non-PPR.
Yeah, but Harris is so much better than Gainwell.
Yeah.
Look at Felipe. Look how much fun Felipe has. I wish everybody could have as much fun as Felipe. Thank you, everybody, for watching our show. Crazy Adam Azer here with his wacky takes and his evil giggle. Very happy to be here with Chris and Jamie. Thank you guys for hanging out. Much appreciated. All right, we're back Thursday at 2 p.m. to answer your starter sit questions. Then 11:30 a.m. on Sunday right here on YouTube. CBS Sports HQ is live noon Eastern, Monday through Friday, and then 10 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. So make sure you're watching that. That's Fantasy Football Today, hosted by Jamie on CBS Sports HQ. We will talk to you on Thursday. See you then at 2 o'clock. Good night, everybody.